write that down.
Okay. So we're on to our final configuration. There are two more, but we're not going to do those. They can be developed in some other way, some other time when we come together again. But thanks so much for this is people are doing this is thanks for getting involved and I think the work. This has been a really interesting kind of experiment. So thanks. It's been really nice. Okay, but now we're on the final stage. Back to work. Okay, so these results tell us that the farmers are most connected to the field of K. The Bourbaki group are only moderately connected, and Serre is least connected there to the field of K, which was mentioned a little bit earlier in relation to the Orphans of Water. So we have some background now. We'll give you guys some background. So the Bourbaki group are a group of French mathematicians who revolutionized mathematics in some way. This involved them writing a big fundamental maths encyclopedia. The field of K is a concept in algebraic topology, which they were interested in. Just as an interesting experiment with just this little bit of background knowledge, would anyone be interested in talking about why the farmers are so connected to the field of K and why Serre might not be connected to the field of K? Do you want to go, Hannah?
Yeah. Oh wait, Harry, do you want to go?
Oh, it's not open.
Your time's coming. Your time's coming.
I think that the field of K invokes this bucolic imagery. Like when I was trying to draw a picture of the field of K, and it was women in dresses and country scenes, whereas maths feels so straight lines and there's no nature. Mm-hmm. Then when you think about it more, that they're so closely connected, you're just going off your instincts and you're not really thinking much deeply about it.
Mm-hmm. And then does that mean Serre is more associated with the bucolic and maybe she is one of the girls in the fields? Yeah, okay, you're right. So actually what happened, if Huz could just lower his head, is in incubation 1, the field of K became literal. So it is this mathematical concept, but by talking about it, it started to become a literal field, like what's just happened in Hannah's mind, like we've just seen recreated the mental process that we went through when we first came up with this, and the work of the mathematicians kind of spawned a literal analogue of the work of farmers on this field of K. So we had talk about there's this group of mathematicians and they're working on the field of K, and then it became an actual field and we had farmers, and the work of the mathematicians and the farmers is connected. Bryn, I believe it was you who there you are, who came up with this whole array which was being developed now. Can you tell the story as you remember it of how it occurred in your mind?
So, wasn't it? How do you pronounce it? Is it Sarah or
Serre? We're saying.
Serre. So in my head, it was field of K was like a place where people went to party.
Because the mystery motive.
The mystery motive. So it was a place to dance and to have fun, and Serre remembers that as there was a moment, maybe recently, maybe long ago, where there's a moment of tension at that thing. So it's she doesn't want to go there because it's this field that has it's a lot of freedom in it, but because of that there's a lot of tension caused by other groups. And I think there was a certain group that was named that were this antagonist sort of force,
Yes, the algebraic program, which have since developed into the Bourbaki group.
Cool.
Thank you, Bryn. Thank you. Okay, so at some point, the mathematical tinkering of this Bourbaki group, this mathematicians working on the field of K, results in the release of fiber functors. This was also Bryn's innovation. Fiber functors are released into the field of K, resulting in its transformational twisting, because the field of K is a mathematical field as well as a physical one, and fiber functors are an algebraic thing that does stuff. So, from the results, we can see that the Bourbaki group and the farmers are both very connected with this development of the release of the disease. This makes sense, as it is the tinkering of the Bourbaki group that triggers this disease being released, and is the farmer's work on the field that is doubtless affected by this transformation in some way. But yet again, Sarah is not connected, seemingly holding herself at a distance from these goings on in the field around her. Why do we think this is, Harry?
So,
Why
yeah.
is Sarah disconnected from the fiber-functor disease?
Well, it's kind of been said already, but in my understanding, Sarah embodied everything that was instinctive, natural, emotional, and I guess feminine. And then the Bourbaki group is making these farmers do all this work with intricate tools that can't work, and that's like their equations playing out in the field of K.
Yes.
Sarah comes in, and then she sings a pop song or something, and this great event occurs, which is the downing of tools, right? Which I don't know if you'll come on to
We're
that.
coming on
The
to
downing
it.
of tools. She inspires all of the workers in the field of K to down their tools, and yeah, it's basically an emotional uprising, and it's like an uprising of love and love songs and emotion.
Amazing,
And
thank you.
yeah.
That's a great introduction, brilliant. So, this event, the release of the fiber-functor disease, as Harry said, leads to something very strange happening. So the farmers respond to the release of the disease and by downing their tools and starting to do yoga. We'll go back to the original passage, and you can see where the language of yoga actually existed in this treatise alongside the field of Cade. So it is an adaptation. Now, these are how the three elements of the play reacted to this event, the downing of the tools and the yoga. The change in the experience of the mathematicians, the Bourbaki group, obviously really stands out. They are actively very against the downing of the tools, and they're also disconnected from the yoga that follows. My tentative conclusion is that they like to facilitate processes, but they don't like it when the processes have results. They don't want to be affiliated with the results. Maybe they lack responsibility. And that's, about them. Sarah, yet again, her neutrality and her kind of witness standpoint holds strong as these dynamics start to reshape around her, and we'll explore this more surely. And then the farmers themselves, although connected, are less connected than they were to the previous, before the disease was released, and before, even though they're the ones downing the tools and they're the ones doing yoga, they're actually less connected to these actions than they were to the actions that preceded them, when they were in this state of kind of being controlled by the mathematicians. So the suggestion is here that the downing of tools was not quite their choice, but more a kind of intuitive trauma response or a reaction formation. There seems to be an opposition between the mathematicians and the farmers here, which we've kind of talked about, but what kind of opposition? So, our first clue is seeing which collaborators are most associated with them. And this is going to follow on slightly from the themes of me getting called out earlier. So, I was most associated with the controlling, horrible mathematicians. And Stan was most associated with the organising workforce of farmers. So, I'm now going to ask Beth to try and think about why these associations might be made, to maybe help us understand the difference between the farmers and the mathematicians and why the conflict has come into place. So you're going to, if you could think about why that association happened, and here's a little info pack on Stan and who he is and what he's up to. So if you could try and make some guesses about why these connections are being made.
Well, knowing Stan very well as I do, this is not hard to answer. So if Stan clearly stands for the workers, because civic assembly-based activism sounds like unionising, and when I think of downing of tools, that sounds like union action. Whereas, so not to say that you're against, you are bringing us here in union, but there's something singular about you because you're at the lectern.
Right, it's not good. It's not good optics, right?
yeah, the lectern, downing of the lectern might be useful. yeah, like you're certainly a director, which proposes union. Not saying that that's an innate quality that you have, but a union versus.
This is what the group has had these associations, so it's a strong consensus. So we're gonna have a little play with a little scenario. It is a month into the farmers' very unusual strike, this yoga strike, against the mathematicians and their Bourbaki bosses. But the Bourbaki bosses have agreed to come to the negotiating table. Stan, acting as the farmers' representative, can you explain what caused the farmers to strike and outline their demands to the mathematicians, please? Alex will be... Oh, no, I'll come to you after. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're here day in, day out, working in the fields, growing food. And occasionally you mathematicians organise some kind of weird event in a basement and invite us along and explain stuff to us, but we're like, what is the point of this? So when Sarah came and sung us, we were like, God, that's someone that we could, maybe do the business for, but who knows? So in that moment, we'd been talking for a while, but we realised enough was enough. So basically our demands are just like, pay us more and maybe get down in the fields every now and then and do some work yourself, do you know what I mean? And let us do some maths.
Oh, that's powerful, that's powerful. So, I'm acting as the bosses, but not as part of the panel. I'm now gonna talk to the model about, and I'm gonna ask you some questions about how we should respond to this. So, do you think the farmers have a point?
No.
No. Why not?
Different people are, better suited for different roles, and I think some people need to be told what to do.
Mathematicians are coming through. So, what are we as mathematicians trying to do that their yoga strike is getting in the way of?
Organise the chaos of the universe into meaning.
Yeah,
meaningful
literally.
progress.
Yeah, true. And do their demands get in the way of our search for truth?
Yes.
Why do we need them?
The farmers.
Yeah.
They're our hands.
Yes. Get that down, Pip. Cool. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, and then I conferred with Alex. Brilliant. So, Sarah, throughout, we've now kind of gone into a bit of that opposition and kind of characterised it and given it life. So, Sarah occupies a neutral position in this opposition. Why? And moreover, who is Sarah? So we're gonna think about the ambivalence of Sarah's position, slightly distant position in this configuration by looking at her relationship with some of the themes. But first, I've already kind of talked to you about why Sarah might be disconnected. But I would like to focus, and actually I'd like you to enlarge on the fact that Sarah's very neutral in relation to all the themes of the play, and very neutral with the with the events in this configuration, apart from with gender. Could you explain why that is such a large part of her, her meaning in this play?
Well, it kind of felt as though Sarah was the first woman that in the play, the first feminine entity, in the whole thing. So I think maybe that's why gender studies was coming up there. And obviously we had the whole thing with the sexual revolution in the 60s being related to some other things that we were talking about.
Could you go into that in a bit more detail?
I don't know. I'm not sure, because there was an ancient doctrine. I can't remember what it was called now. And then something happened with music, right? And there was a sexual revolution in the 1960s, and we had a mirror for that, a symbolic mirror. And Sarah kind of feels like maybe not a product of that, maybe she's related to that in some way. But yeah, I just think Sarah is a disruptor, first of all, but a peaceful disruptor. And yeah, that's all I've got to really say.
Super. So, yep, okay, cool. So, So we're now going to give you a bit of information about something odd that happened with Sarah. So as far as I can remember, just exploring his connection with gender, Sarah has always been female, but the biographical information is the character she's based on is male. And then here's some stuff that's similar about the biographical information as the character in real life. So they're both very skilled mathematicians who revolutionised homotopy theory with their work on fibre spaces and spectral sequences, and they were both members of the Bourbaki group but kept themselves slightly on the sidelines and went to meetings only sporadically. But in our version, Sarah's female, whereas in her history, she's male. Beth, looking at the original meaning or the original passage that we got all of this thing from, and maybe reading it out to us, could you offer any insights into what may have led us to flip the gender of Sarah without kind of any background knowledge about who they were?
Sure. Would you like me to read them?
Yeah. Just to give you guys an idea of like where this is all kind of coming from.
And since I like dreaming, I continue dream that I remember having gained access to this glimpsed mystery through work which surely was but a dream, since I did not prove anything, and I eventually understood how the notion of motives provided the key to understanding this mystery, that through the mere presence of a category, here the category of P207, smooth motives over a given base scheme, for instances motives over a given ground field, possessing internal structures similar to those which can be found on the category of linear representations of an algebraic progroup over a field of K, the charm of the notion of algebraic progroup, having been revealed to me by Sir as well at an earlier time, one would be able to reconstruct such a progroup given the data of an appropriate fibre functor, and to interpret the abstract category as a category of its linear representations.
Why do you think we read Sarah's female from that?
Is this talking?
No, this is the writer talking about his relationship with Sarah, who revealed to him the algebraic progroup.
I think there is a link between dreaming and femininity. It's not necessarily like one that's necessarily productive, but it makes me think of Ursula K. Le Guin's theory about femininity in nature. She disagrees with the idea that that women should be seen as like natural things and having an innate knowledge, because it suggests that they're like an other being, it others women. But I think like dreaming is like a very innate thing, and like being able to understand a mystery that's maybe not like described academically is seen as like a feminine quality in culture quite often. So I feel like we innateness is recognised as feminine.
Wow, that was an amazing answer. Thank you, man. Thank you. So then we had some details added about Sarah's character by Tanif has added these details. So this is extra information about Sarah. So Sarah likes debating and watching debate content. She also enjoys rock climbing and has strong muscular fingers which help her cope with stress. Would anybody in the audience like to ask any questions about what about Sarah moved Tanif into this direction with her character? Yes, Britt.
Yeah, why the rock climbing?
Rock climbing. I think rock climbing's very feminine.
You think it's like the divine feminine, because it's like there's like a freedom to rock climbing, like sexual.
Yeah, because the bum's just floating. And they don't care. They don't care that the bum's floating.
The floating bum of Sarah. Okay, brilliant. So, some more information about Sarah has been exchanged. We've actually had quite a deep movement through her character there. So let's go back to our original question. Who is Sarah and what role does she play in this scenario? Let's ask the person chose as Sarah's representative. Hannah K. Warren. Hannah, could you come up with some final conclusions? And Pip, could you write this down about who Sarah is and what role you see her playing in this scenario, this kind of dispute between the farmers and the mathematicians?
I feel like Sarah's like, it's the word like chthonic, like she's from the earth, like she's like the like, do you know, Mother Nature's like, she gives and she can also take. Like the mathematicians and the farmers, they're both acting on this kind of like masculine principle of like extraction. They're both like mining something. Even the farmers or the growing stuff, it feels like there's a quite a control, whereas Sarah feels like the force of like upheaval, change, yeah.
Fantastic.
Like tricks, but
What can you see her like doing?
she walks into the shop and takes a bottle of water and walks out, and no one says anything. But she says, "God bless you" to a beggar.
Brilliant. Great. Write it down. Write it down. Okay, amazing. So now we're just going to pull a few more final conclusions from our data here. So a few clear observations. There seems to be a complete opposition between the association with agriculture and the association with the search for truth, which kind of tied into what we were talking about earlier. So the field of K and the farmers, both very associated with agriculture, but not at all with truth, whereas the Bourbaki group and SARE are more associated with truth. Huz, what do you think about that? Agriculture and search for truth.
I guess it's a very physical, real process of agriculture, and maybe we think that truth is rooted in the physical and the real and the natural. What was the and the Bourbaki stuff? What was that?
The Bourbaki are interested in searching for truth, but not in agriculture. You don't think they're mutually exclusive?
No, they can't be.
Okay, cool. You want to say something?
Yeah, I think that people are distrustful of farmers through like a socially engineered like propaganda against farmers at the moment. Through like false climate activism.
Okay, we can explore that. So, yeah, Bourbaki group and SARE are less associated with agriculture, but more for the search for truth. Alex, could you talk about the search for truth?
The search for truth
And SARE's role in the search for truth, yeah.
I think not versus agriculture, not
Yeah, kind of versus agriculture, yeah.
Sorry, can you give me a prompt?
So SARE is not really connected to these Bourbaki mathematicians. She's kind of opted out and on the side, but she's still involved for the search for truth more than she is in agriculture. I'm just trying to figure out where her position is, like in this.
Because she inspires the downing of tools, which in the minds of the Bourbaki group is the death of the search for truth. But I suppose in the mind of SARE is a progression of that of the search for truth.
Love that.
So I suppose her role is to change the narrative of the direction of where the spotlight of looking for truth is. She's kind of shining it away from logic and grids towards something more.
I would definitely like to explore how the downing of tools is an extension of the search for truth, or like a twist, like a Kleineman on the search for truth. The farmers and SARE are also both very associated with intuition, but the Bourbaki mathematicians are really opposed to intuition. Harry, as the expert, the group-decided expert on intuition, could you try and explain this and its role more generally in this, the role of intuition in this whole configuration?
I'm trying to intuit the answer.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Bourbaki group, I think they're scared, like, first of all. So I think everything they do is motivated by a kind of fear of nothingness. Does that make sense, you think? So I think that's why all of their pursuits of truth are fruitless, because they're not guided by genuine curiosity or love. And they're not trying to make people's living standards better or anything. And I think SARE is different to that. and I think the farmers themselves are like, I think they've just been disconnected from their own intuition.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sarah and the farmers are also both very associated with friendship, and again, the mathematicians in the field of K aren't associated with friendship. Beth, do you have any ideas why the mathematicians might not be associated, but Sarah is, even though she's a mathematician, her and the farmers are more associated with friendship?
Well, I think it comes down to the whole idea of unity versus direction again. Like when people have a shared labour and like a shared struggle, that creates a forming of bonds, and Sarah's more in touch with just like the people who depend on friendship as a means to survive, whereas versus the mathematicians. Well, it seems like the mathematicians are like very detached from that. Like they're not like involved in the community in like an active, like supporting way. They're like an abstract concept. So she's more the person.
So good, thank you. Okay, and now I'm just going to lead you through this one, guys. So in both its connections with the themes and with people, yoga is one of those ones that's just very disconnected from everything. They're very disconnected from the themes of the play and the people making it. But fiber functor disease is very, very connected with the themes of the play and the people making it. It's almost if the disease is a disease of connectability and associational efflorescence, whereas yoga, the cure, the response, the symptom, is a disconnector, is about separating things out, a kind of mode of social and ideational distancing maybe. So let's learn a little bit more about fiber functors before we try and develop this further. Fiber functors serve as bridges between tensor categories and group theoretic or Galois theoretic structures. They are essential in Tannakian reconstruction, allowing one to recover a group or group-like object from its category of representations. So that's what a fiber functor is, and that's the disease that's taking over our field of K. It's something to do with the recovering of group-like objects from its category of representations. Could us and Harry collaborate on an epidemiological analysis of this? A piece of advice about what one should do if one catches fiber functor disease. And how you're going to do this is one is going to do one word and then one's going to do the other word, and you're going to create a sentence together.
How to combat fiber functor disease.
Yeah. Still on the spot.
Okay. To
Get
rid
of
the
fiber
plague,
you
must
not
indulge
in
the
mass
temptation
of
struggling
against
the
popular
luxury
of
truth.
Thank you. Popular luxury.
It's a popular luxury.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's profound.
Okay, our representatives for configuration 3, we have an expert. So out of the survey takers, Harry was the one whose answers were on average the closest to the average answers and the consensus of the group on this. So their connection to configuration 3 so far is they've written a song for Sarah, which might have been lost.
It's been lost, yeah.
It's been lost. And they've also studied and performed yoga.
Yes, yeah.
So that's ongoing. And the appointee, out of the people we've worked with so far in the project, the one who the experts judged to be most associated with, so the experts judged to be most associated with configuration 3 were jointly Trish, who isn't here, and Stan. So their contributions to so far, they were both in the room while I was writing some mathematician dialogue, but they were both working on something different. Stan, if you want to pick actually no, it works if you do it. Okay, here are our outcomes, guys. We're doing there, we're getting through. Would you like to, who's choosing 3? Sorry. The appointee, so that's you, Stan, gets to choose 3 to remove, and Harry will get to choose either 2 to reinstate or to remove further.
Oh wow, okay. Right. I'm gonna remove Downing the Tools noise set.
Downing the Toils noise set is, where is it? Yeah.
I'm removing the interface.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna remove the yoga flow.
Harry.
Yeah, I'm gonna remove the encyclopedia, epidemiology presentation. What the hell?
Okay, and
So
those are the ones.
Oh, I thought I got 3. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Happy?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so everybody's got their clipboards. For the final time tonight, your outcomes are demonstrative theatre showing a new way of doing maths that relates to farming, a SARE vlog, could be a day in the life, what I do at work, getting ready for work, a study playlist, political posters or flyers, a sculpture exhibition of new geometrically designed farming implements that you could draw maybe instead of writing out, mathematized dialogue using a geometry of exchange, or a political documentary. Take it the Should we go around to you? So you want to start us off, Rick?
I've got a historic look-back BBC 2 political documentary detailing the uprising and figurehead of Sir, unknowingly revealing she is actually the problem and a threat to the farmers and the math nerds.
Stairs.
Can we just pause for a minute? Technical difficulty.
Okay.
We just need to retrieve a very long notes.
Is it okay?
Which I've deleted.
No.
No.
It's in drafts. It's in drafts.
You on Google Docs?
Can you undo delete?
The Google Docs.
Yeah.
You can just, there's a way to show, someone showing. Go back.
Edit, undo, delete.
You go back in time. You can go back in time.
Or maybe I'll send it to you.
Control V.
That's what you don't get it.
Got it?
Yeah.
Yay!
You see that again?
His nose again.
I just need to copy this, then quit. I'll do it after.
Pip, what do you have for us?
Yeah, me and Hannah, we went with the vlog, this YouTube vlog kind of stuff, and we're saying she's sort of like a trickster on the internet who's trying to like kind of undermine like the kind of toxic masculine side of it. So like we're saying she does like race cam videos, but like to guys that just like fuck.
Yeah, like she goes up to guys on the street and she's like beautiful and she's like showing women how like easy men are, like as like a retaliation against like male risk cams.
Brilliant. Wow, social realist.
What else? We have to
I can't read any math, but it's just generally she's like a hippie and she's on a raw veg diet. So she does like how to unlock your creative potential videos, but like how good they are. It's like just a trick.
Beautiful.
Do you think she's more likely to be raw vegan or carnivore diet?
No, she's on tallow moisturiser, bone broth, and collagen powder.
Yeah.
But she has it. She lays it all out on a wooden chopping board.
Yeah.
As well.
The carnivore.
Yeah.
How does she interact with the men?
She's really casual about it, but like she knows what she's doing, and she like she'll ask them like just a simple question to start with, like. So it's like plausible deniability, but like a feminine allure, she'll prove that like it's really irresistible to like most guys.
Great. Would you? Sorry, that's great. Would you like to go?
I put sorry, this music's so Chris.
You're right,
Oh no!
What do you mean, Tom?
I just put that I can't remember the quote, but something like what's on the spoon, like who's feeding you what's on the spoon, and like you have to think who it is. And I was having the mathematicians kind of control Sir, and kind of has Sir as like she's like she lifts everyone's morale and like kind of but like is like telling the farmers to do things but making them way more digestible. Like she's turned into propaganda to the mathematicians. She's pure of heart, which she doesn't realise. She's just got this beautiful feminine energy, and it's just like making everything nice to do. And I was going to go for like I don't actually know. I forgot to look at what the questions were, to be honest. That was on the screen, but I forgot. I wasn't sure.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah. Hey.
I didn't get much from it, but I just picked the study playlist one, and it's made by the mathematician, and it's just silence for like 3 hours, and then it's like one word. I wasn't sure what the word being, but the mathematician like whispers it, and then it goes to 1 hour of silence again.
Wow.
And it's sheep noises of like sheep grazing, and then it's silence, and then another word. It's kind of a way of them like controlling.
I love that. Really love that.
Sounds like it's part of it.
That synced up really well. Instead.
So mine's a political documentary where basically some accountants from McKinsey go back in time to advise the temple runners in ancient Mesopotamia how to make their taxation system more efficient.
Wow.
But in doing this, they spark an uprising of the farmers because it means that the farmers can't hide their wheat anymore from the temple. So the crew are wrapped up and they go back into the future, back to McKinsey, but McKinsey's not there. Civilization's not there. Maths has never been invented in the world because civilization just collapsed back in the day.
Got that, Jim?
Absolutely.
Civilization wasn't there earlier. Amazing. Do you okay?
Yeah, so I was doing the mathematical dialogue written by Sarah, and as we know, truth is a popular luxury, kind of controlled by the mathematicians almost. But Sarah proves that 2 + 2 = 5, which kind of breaks the mathematicians' like monopoly on truth, and kind of democratizes it and brings truth to people.
So sick, yeah. Cool.
I did do the encyclopedia analysis course now, so this can be a political poster, I think. So Sarah decides to stage a revolution because the divide between the farmers and the mathematicians is got too much. So she decides to revolutionize math, like all measurements and matrices in maths to try and go back to like a Babel language type thing, like a universal language. And she does this by making all numbers rewritten and redefined as how far they are from sea level. Like 2 would be like a piece of coal like just above, like that specific shape. And then like it could be something like 5 or something you have is like 2 + 2 is 5 would be like different types of coral, like that type of coral. And then something mechanical. And then that can all be written down, like transcribed as like a new form of hieroglyphics. And they can kind of be different for each country it could be. Or you could make it like Thailand.
That's brilliant. Did you get the sea level mathematics?
Yeah.
So, very cool. Does the panel want to share what you guys have come up with?
We were saying a new form of maths, so that's to do with farming. So we're talking about no-dig gardening, which is where you just never dig and just layer it up, and we were saying the new form of maths is like no-dig gardening, so there's no subtraction anymore. No one's allowed to do subtraction. There's no subtraction. You're allowed to divide and add and multiply, but no subtraction.
God. Imagine. Would that cut out minus numbers?
Yeah.
Just go up and up and up.
Yeah, it would, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Were you guys part of that?
Yeah.
Did you have any? Cool. Okay. It's coming up to 10 o'clock. We were going to do one more Kleinman on that, where we were going to say what the so you were going to take a scenario and say what would happen when FFFFFUNCTOR was released in whatever scenario you'd taken, but maybe we'll leave that as homework for you guys. That's the end of Incubation 6. Thanks so much. Okay. Could we have a big round of applause to our audio team and to Felix and Tim, who performed today as Nuts of Services, doing a live soundtracking for the event, which was incredibly responsive and distorting. Thank you. Can we give a round of applause to Jim, our admin master. Also on the documentary team, we have Reese, who's been holding his hand up the whole time. And now, if our panel can stand up and give us our performers, our survey takers, our panel, stand up and give us a bow. Arms up in the air, arms up in the air. Well done, thank you. Brilliant. Thanks so much for being a part of this. I hope we can all continue, give me the details and let's continue working on this.